Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another video. Today I want to talk a bit more detailed about the different beast talents, skill trees, and there are some things that we need to clarify before we go into details. So a lot of the different rows in here are the same. It doesn't matter which pet you have. The only things that are different in the skill trees are the skills in the middle, because they are specific for each pet skill, and for the final skill it is a unique ability that is also individual depending on your pet. But starting off, just to speed this all up, I prepared a sheet very quickly so we can look at this together. So this is the sheet, and here you can see that a lot of the different role skills are similar, and it doesn't matter which pet you have. So let's dive a bit deeper into it. The first skill that we have, it increases the march speed of our army when the pet is included. And I will try to say it just once in this video. Since this update, I think it is very important that we always buy those Beast Viger potions when we see them in the merchant ship, so you can always decide if you want to use a potion if you don't have enough Beast Viger to send your pet with to an attack. So this one, it increases the march speed of your whole army when the pet is included. Then we have the second row, this and this, and these two skills, as you can see here from my sheet, they increase the HP and the attack of your beast. The third row has the stat that it increases the damage dealt when you are defending, and it reduces the damage taken when you are defending, and in addition to that, the beast has to be included. So if your castle gets attacked and your beast is at home, then you have these benefits. If you want to reinforce another castle and you bring your pet, then these buffs are active. But if you reinforce another castle and your pet isn't with the march, then these buffs won't work. I will skip the pet specific skills for now. We will look into them later in the detail. And then the fifth row is with increased beast HP and increased beast attack, then followed by increase the frontline HP and the attack of your backline. Then we have another pet specific skill, followed by again increased beast HP and increased beast attack. Then it gets very interesting because it's followed by increased angel HP if the pet is included, and increased angel attack if the beast is included. Then we have the specific upgrade for the beast's third skill. It is an additional skill that the pet gets, but we will get into detail about that later. And lastly, we have increased beast HP again, increased beast attack, followed by increased HP of angels if the beast is included, and increased attack if the beast is included. So, and now I want to get more detailed about each upgrade for the beast skills and for unlocking the new beast's third skill. And in addition to that, we will look into the unique ability of each pet. So let's get started. I think we will work our way from the left to the right, and we will start off with the Panda. So the upgrade for the beast's first skill is almost always the same. When launching the first beast skill, additionally increases damage of normal attacks by 20%. So if your first ability of your beast triggers, it increases the damage of normal attacks by a certain percentage, which isn't bad because the cooldown of the first skill isn't that high, if I remember correctly. Here you can see every 8 seconds summons a thunder attack on your current attack with attack power equal to a certain percentage of normal attack. So you actually benefit very early from this skill upgrade. Of course, the additional increased damage is only for the normal attacks of your pet. At least that's how I understand it. Then we come to the upgrade for the Panda's second beast skill. When launching the shield skill, increases the defense bonus of front row troops by an additional 1.2%. This is a very interesting wording in my opinion. I haven't seen this in action so far, but how I would understand it from the wording is that increases the defense bonus of front row troops by an additional 1.2%. I understand it like that all of your front row troops get an additional defense bonus. But I think it is meant to be like the unit that gets the buff of the shield skill gets an additional 1.2%. Because for castle defense, this would be very strong if it would target all of your front row troops. So I believe it is for the units that get the shield skill from the Panda. So it doesn't do anything else than increase the percentage of defense improvement for the second skill. Now we come to the third upgrade that is specific for your pet, and this unlocks a new skill. So let's read it together. Launch the Tai Chi matrix every 11 seconds. In battle, randomly increases 4 of your troops' defense by 10% and reduces damage by 7% for 5 seconds. This is also a very critical wording in my opinion. I understand it like that. If we would read it word by word, randomly increases 4 of your troops' defense by 10%. So this can mean that all of your 4 backline units gets their defense increased, or all 4 of your front lines, or like split it all over your unit pools, like 1 in the front row, 3 in the back row, and so on and so on. And then it comes and reduces damage by 7% for 5 seconds. I understand it like that it is meant to be like it reduces the damage that your units are dealing to your opponent by 7%. But I personally don't think that it is like that. I think it is meant to be and reduces damage taken by 7% for 5 seconds. So that this is a very powerful additional defense buff that increases the defense of 4 unit pools, and that the damage is taken reduced by 7% for 5 seconds. I think the wording isn't really clear in here, but this is how I see it. If you guys already have unlocked this skill, let me know down in the comments below how you think the wording is meant to be. Lastly, we come to each beast's unique ability, the last skill in here. This one is called the Holy Blessing. It reduces damage taken of the beast's troops in battle by 6% on the first level. Very strong, because you can understand it like damage taken reduced by a certain percentage. Doesn't matter if you're attacking or if you're defending, all that you have to do is include your pet into the march. So this is a very powerful skill in my opinion, because we all know that damage has a higher impact than base stats like HP or attack. Of course, you have to balance all of it, but already this skill sounds very powerful. This is it about the Panda skill. All in all, its defense performance gets increased. Now we come to the dragon. First skill again, just as I said earlier, when launching the ice spike skill additionally increases damage of normal attacks by 20%. This is always the similar skill. So then we come to the next skill. When launching the Rain of Fire skill additionally increases damage of normal attacks by 18%. So I personally don't think that this is a very good skill, because you want additional benefits that help out your army and not your beast itself. Then we come to the third skill, and this one is very interesting in my opinion. It says, launch Dragon Strength every 15 seconds in battle, randomly increases 3 of your troops' critical strike rate by 8% and the critical strike damage by 50% for 7 seconds apparently. Prioritizes boosting the back row. I think that the Dragon Strength skill is very powerful. I see this especially interesting for team players that bring formations to a stack that include several unit pools, so you can help all of those units pools out with this skill. So in my opinion, the dragon tends to be a pet or a beast that is made for team players, because in big stacks things like the Dragon Strength or also the Rain of Fire skill can have a very big impact in my opinion. Very powerful skill. I also see this in a castle build that is made for different trigger chances of different abilities, and in addition to that, when you're using formations that are, for example, like if you bring 2 types of backline archers or 2 types of mages, it always depends what your focus is. But if you're used to playing with even and odd tier and not just focusing one tier, so I think this skill really shines in these troop compositions. Lastly, we come to the unique ability. It's called the Dragon Scale Care. For beasts troops in the battle, increases damage of archers and mages by 3%. And reduces damage taken of infantry and cavalry by 3%. So again, this skill really shines in team battles because, as you can read from here, it doesn't matter if you focus archers, mages, infantry or cavalry, it all doesn't matter because this unique ability targets every unit pool aside from angels. So I think that this skill tree makes the dragon a pet, especially for team players and for players that are interested in playing odd and even units at the same time in their formation. So like a 4 up to 5 unit formation, depending on what your troop focus is. Very interesting additions for the dragon. Next up, we come to the Pegasus, the first upgrade for the first skill, similar to all the other ones. And then we come to the second skill upgrade. When launching the War Blessing skill, increases the attack bonus of back row troops by an additional 0.8%. Again, the wording isn't really clear to me yet. Let me know down in the comments below if you already know it. It sounds like it increases the attack bonus of all back row troops. So if I would bring 2 types of mages and the War Blessing skill would target my even mages, from the wording it says that it would also target my odd mages, not the skill itself, just this upgrade from this skill here. So when launching the War Blessing skill, increases the attack bonus of back row troops by an additional 0.8%. I think it is meant to be that the units that are targeted by my War Blessing skill will get an additional attack bonus from this upgrade. Next up, we come to the third skill that is unlocked then for the Pegasus. It says launch Battle Stampede every 11 seconds in battle, randomly increases 2 of your troops' attack by 12% and the defense penetration effect by 7% for 5 seconds apparently. Prioritizes boosting the back row. Very powerful skill in my opinion because it increases the attack of 2 unit pools, and in addition to that it increases the defense penetration. So we are talking about the cavalry defense or infantry defense, for example, when we are running into the opponent's front line. I think that the Pegasus, because of this skill, is made for players that are interested in sending, for example, a 3-tier formation, like in just 1 unit pool of infantry, angels and mages then. Because what then will happen is that the Battle Stampede will prioritize the backline units and then working its way towards the front line. So you can influence what unit pools you want to target. And then it would be like if you bring a 3-tier formation, it will target your mages and your angels before targeting anything else. So you would really focus this Battle Stampede buff with increased attack and defense penetration for your main damage units, for your angels and for your mages. So great addition, and increases 2 unit pools, is like made for these formations that are interested in sending a 3-tier formation, for example. Of course, you can also send it with even and odd mages, but we all know that angels deal way more damage than any other unit. So this is really interesting for 3-tier formations, because then it will most likely happen that this buff will target your angels. And then we come to the last unique ability. It increases the damage dealt of beasts troops against infantry and cavalry in battle by a certain percentage. On the first look, it doesn't look that interesting, but I still think that this one is very powerful, because what one of your milestones is during a battle is to win against the opponent's frontline as fast as possible, so that your damage units can start working on the opponent's angels or then run into the opponent's backline. And this additional ability helps you with that. I think it is very powerful, and you shouldn't underestimate it compared to other skills in my opinion. Also, this one increases the damage, and as I just said earlier, damage is always stronger than the base stat. And lastly, we come to the Phoenix. So let's go. First skill, the Fire Elf skill, also increases the damage of normal attacks by a certain percentage. And then we come to the second upgrade. When launching the Nirvana Strike skill, additionally increases damage of normal attacks by a certain percentage. This is similar to the Dragon's upgrade for their second skill. I personally don't think that this one is really strong, but the Dragon, just as the Phoenix, really shine in team battles. So a good one for that. Then we come to the new skill that the Phoenix would get. It is called the Flame Shield. Launch the Flame Shield every 15 seconds in battle. Randomly makes 2 of your troops get shield. Shield absorbs 6 damage of your troops' current HP for 4 seconds. Prioritizes boosting the front line. I personally think that this isn't a good skill for the following reason. It triggers when you are 15 seconds in battle. So most of your front line will already have taken a lot of damage. And the size of the shield is based on the current HP at the trigger moment. So like when you're 18 seconds into battle, remember we have a breakout window of 3 seconds and then the cooldown for the skill starts. So this ability triggers at 18 seconds. And when you're already 18 seconds in battle, your troops will have taken damage or maybe also a lot of damage. And then the shield of this flame shield will be weaker and not as effective as if it would trigger at like 11 seconds. That's for sure. So the shield duration of 4 seconds, I think it's very short. Of course, it will absorb damage, but I think that this skill isn't that effective overall. If you have a very high damage reduction from opponents' units, if you have a very high HP pool, this can still have a very big impact. Or if you start the battle with the Athena's Aegis skill, where you already start with a shield that is based on your troops' HP, yes, then you can build a bridge of shields until the flame shield triggers. But this skill single-handedly rated, I don't think it is a very good skill. The last unique ability of your Phoenix will make up for it. Because it's called the Rebirth Flame, it increases damage of angels and beast troops in the battle by 6%. And we are not talking about angel attack, we are talking about the damage that your angels are dealing. And this skill is massive. Because first of all, it starts off with 6% damage increase of your angels, and that's a lot. We're talking about normal attacks, we are talking about the flame missile from the Mystic College, and we are also talking about the Blazing Soul skill that triggers every 7 seconds of your angels. This unique ability is very powerful, and I totally understand why people are now focusing the Phoenix even more, because the whole beast skill tree, as you can see here from my sheet, from the higher levels it increases, or it has a big focus on your angels. And in addition to that, I think that this final ability is very powerful, and many players will try to rush into this as fast as possible, and I totally see why, because angels are currently the strongest unit in the game because of all their flexibility and their very high base stats. So this one is very powerful in my opinion. Okay guys, so now we have talked about all the different skill trees of the pets. As I just said, we talked about the beast specific ones. Because all of these left and right skills are similar, you can see them here from my sheet and check them out for yourself. And finally, I'd like to tell you how I approached this skill tree. When I got my first emblems to upgrade those skills, I went as followed. I started off and went down, and I always check what the next skill requires for me. For example, here I can see that my beast needs to be level 17. I have that, and I need the Fortify Thunder Charge to reach level 4. So what I'm doing now is I check, okay, what do I need for the next level up? So all I need is emblems. Okay, that's great. But if it would be like that I need the defense expert to be a level higher, then I would invest into that. So what I want to say is I work my way from the bottom to the top when I rate my decisions of how I approach this beast talent skill. And I think that's the most efficient way to do, because you always aim for the next higher level skill, and the deeper you go into the skill tree, the more focus comes to your basic troops, to the better skills of your pet, and also finally to your angels. This is how I approach this. Let me know down in the comments below if you do it differently. And yeah, all in all, that's it about the beast talents. I hope that this video helped you out and gave you some ideas on which pet you want to approach and how you want to build the beast talent skill. Yeah, and that's it for me today. See you in the next video. Goodbye, guys.